Hi, it's Pete from Forget Normal. Hope you're okay. So today I want to talk about something that sounds a bit weird, the elephant rope. And this is apparently a practice that used to go on, I hope it still doesn't go on, in certain parts of the world, where baby elephants are broken in from birth, basically, to be restricted to the area that they're allowed to explore. So what they would do with a baby elephant is tie a rope around it and then tie the other end of the rope to a stake in the ground and put it really deep so it's really secure. And then that baby elephant just gets used to a certain natural radius that they can move around in, and they're completely dependent on everything within that rope. They can't escape that radius. And they get conditioned to not explore or not try, because the first few times obviously they're straining against the rope, or they'll run in one direction and they get pulled up by the rope, and they get used to having that pullback all the time. And what's interesting and terrifying is that as they grow up, they've become used to that rope, and when that rope is taken off them, so it's no longer restricting them, they still stay within the zone that they've basically been, that's all they know from since they were born, and they've been conditioned to accept that area as their territory and nothing else, and they don't go outside of it. Now, obviously, that's a deplorable practice by anyone's mind, but and you and I should feel awful that stuff goes on. But here's the thing. That happens with human beings too, but it's called your comfort zone. It is basically your collection of limiting beliefs and bad mental conditioning that you've been subject to from the minute you were born to the moment you're watching this video, that is restricting what you think you can do. It dictates everything about what you're comfortable in doing. A job, if you're comfortable in a particular job, you may stay in the same dead-end job for 20 years because you get used to it, and that becomes your elephant rope. And the possibilities outside of that elephant rope are staggering, but you don't look any further because you got so used to having this limited ring around you where everything everything's familiar, that becomes your world. And it's the same with anything else. It's not just jobs, it's money. You've probably been told something like money doesn't grow on trees, there's not enough to go around, money's tight. All those kind of things are a financial... Oh, just getting a message. Yeah, by the way, this is just recorded raw. I don't bother editing anything. I just want to get the message out and see if it works for you. So you'll get used to this. I don't really do much editing or any fancy stuff, so I'll just keep on talking. What happens then? People's financial world becomes also so restricted that they can't see beyond it. You find this especially, a good example is lottery winners. Some people who are used to having a certain income every year, they just know they've got enough to get through the month, and then that's it. No serious savings or anything else. When people like that win the lottery, the immediate reaction is brilliant, don't need to worry about anything, I've got all the money in the world. But if they don't mentally reset their sort of the calibration that they have, their thermostat, if you like, for money, then sooner or later they will return back to the level of income they were at before, because they've not mentally changed. Their financial position has changed, but in their minds they're still poor. They still don't deserve the money. They haven't earned it. They still know that money doesn't go on trees. There's never enough to go around. So that becomes their reality. There's a statistic somewhere where a massive percentage of lottery winners go bankrupt within a couple of years after their win, which is crazy. But again, it's just the elephant rope. They've not changed their mental conditioning. This can be anything. Finish all the food on your plate. There's not enough food to go around. Don't waste food. All that kind of stuff. And obviously you shouldn't waste food. But I'm just talking about this conditioning that if your plate has to be clean every time you eat, no matter the size of the plate, and plates have got bigger, certainly in our house, all this is conditioning. So just understand that as despicable and outrageous it is that, elephants are trained with ropes to restrict their movements, it's happened to us too. Now, what can you do about it? Okay, how do you start a chapter and cut the rope? The fact is, since your mind conditioning has been so focused, whether it's parents, close friends, schools, people of authority who've told you certain things. You need to basically clear that conditioning. And it's, I was going to say recondition your mind, but it's actually uncondition your mind. Basically free it up and remove all the layers that have happened year on year of stuff that's restricting you, and remove the bad programming. So how do you go about this? Well, I would say the very first step is try and remove the negative inputs, and that's not just paying attention to people who are probably trying to keep you safe and stuff, but they're also, they're on their own agendas as well. So you need to realise that, you need to start working towards your own goals and removing limiting beliefs, whether it's you've been telling yourself you can't lose weight, or you don't have enough money and money's tight, all that kind of stuff. All that can go, because you need to cut off all the negative switch points that you've got. A good example is I stopped watching the news because it doesn't serve me. I know what's going on in the world. I've got enough trusted peers that tell me what's important in the world that's going on. And, if there's any contributions I can make to intervene, to make things better, whether it's donating to charity or, donating clothes and all the rest of it, that happens anyway. Listening to the news 24/7 about how bad things are is not going to help. It just puts you in a negative frame of mind, which is going to make you less able to help anyway. So, little things like that. But you need to create almost a vacuum where all that bad thought used to be, and make sure you fill it up with good mind food. So this can be anything. I'm in the habit of listening to positive podcasts on the way to work. At night, I'm not reading, gossip fiction, or the gossipy stuff, the just sort of wishy-washy, rubbish books. I'm reading something that's gonna help me. Now, don't get me wrong, I will read a fiction book, just for shits and giggles, but I need to actually consciously program my mind with good stuff. I'm just looking up at my bookshelf at the top of the wall here. I've got a Subconscious Power book. I've got Joseph Murphy. I've got Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen. All kinds of stuff where I can just pick something off the shelf, read it, and get some of that good stuff in my brain to squeeze all the negative stuff out. Because if you don't do anything, it's just like a driveway, that you don't weed regularly. Sooner or later it's going to be overgrown. You choose what grows. Maybe a better metaphor is a garden. Okay, you basically reap what you sow. So sow good seeds and get rid of the weeds. Okay, so after a while you realise you're no longer restricted by the elephant rope. It never really existed. You just were told certain constrictions, and you were given certain rules that don't serve you anymore. So you can leave them behind, but just make sure in leaving them behind you replace them with better beliefs, good stuff going into your mind all the time. Because my final thought on this is everything you want in your life is outside of your comfort zone. It's outside of the elephant rope. Everything you want. There is a certain amount of discomfort necessary in order to stretch yourself past your limiting beliefs and get to the next level. Incidentally, I've got a video you might want to look up that is all about limiting beliefs and how to dispel them. So I'd advise you to check that out if you don't already know how to do it. That was it. That's my thought for the day. So take care. Hope that's useful. And if you've got any comments, I'll be happy to answer them below. Cheers. Bye.